Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, NFL news including more Triple R, re-signings, releases, and rumors. The MVP race is still heating up, and we're all asking, who the heck is LeBron James? And the WWE living life in the fast lane to WrestleMania, starting now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Debate Among Friends, episode 42 on March 8th, 2017. We're glad you decided to join us on this Wednesday evening. As always, I am the Professor John Gotti, and always by my side, the great Doc Eno himself, the Baron of 2017, and the King of Plez Style himself, Doc Ocean. How you doing tonight?
The king of Plez Style himself. I cannot believe you did that. Everybody knows that you are the troll master himself, the king of RNG, the data analyzing ninja himself.
I mean, when you say ninja like that, we have to be careful, because seriously these days.
But I mean, we're controversial, and I did say ninja, so stop it.
Oh my goodness. But I'm looking forward to tonight's show. We have ourselves some pretty big surprises. As you notice, we have some new stuff happening as far as the graphics. Big shout outs to our AV intern, Chris. The doctor was all over him last week after what happened. And Chris was like, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm not going to let you down again. And now we have our brand new format.
Absolutely. Loving it too, by the way. Loving it. It's not like McDonald's I'm loving it, but like seriously, like I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
We got a lot of news, man. I mean, what in the world? I mean, NFL, NBA, and some WWE. I mean, my God.
I mean, if you're ready, and I'm ready, and the people, if they're ready too, let's get debating.
I mean, we knew. All right, can we just say this? We knew. I knew. I hated the fact that I knew. I hated the fact that we both got so many reads that we basically own our own library.
That's pretty good there. I like that. That was pretty good.
But I hate the fact that news comes out so fast. And I think Four said it last week when he said, isn't there, what happened to the element of surprise?
He did
and that's not only going with the WWE, but it's also apparently going with the NFL. Now, I've always had a problem with people sharing news about releases from teams.
Yep.
It bugs me. It's one of the things that just grinds my gears so much because I want teams to go out there and really not know the future. It's like if you're trying to trade Tony Romo, why say you're going to release him?
I mean,
like, why say it? I would want to try, even if it was a 6th-round pick, I would take it.
At that point, I mean, now they're letting him go for nothing just to relieve cap space.
For nothing. We're gonna get to basketball, but the one thing I remember, B.J. Armstrong saying about, not just B.J. Armstrong, but a few people, Charles Barkley, saying about like the Houston Rockets, all they do is care about, people being basically pawns. But it's like, I mean, when you're playing chess out here, I mean, some people have to be the pawns. Some people have to be
the pawns.
Rooks. Yeah. Some people have to be the king, queen. Like, everybody has their own role. And it's like, you have at least a knight in Tony Romo. He's not king or queen. He's better than a pawn.
I see what you did there. That was clever.
But he's at least a rook, a knight. he might be able to get you some people off the board, but he's not going to get everybody. He doesn't get everybody off the board. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You make some compelling points.
So, I mean, why release this information? Hey, we're going to release him. Here you are. You can have him for free.
For me, it was as soon as they announced it, his stock for trade went away.
I mean, why not?
You sound like
why not?
You sound
why
like
not?
right now.
I mean, why not? I mean, why would I pay money? Why would I send money? You know what I mean? Like, why would I send money? Why would I send picks? Why would I even waste my time? I'll take my chances. And he's not even going to sign immediately. They said he was going to go the Peyton Manning route, which is probably going to be the same as Adrian Peterson, which we'll definitely get to. Take the route of saying, hey, I'm going to ride around a little bit, see who's giving me the most money, who's giving me the most opportunity, and then from there, make some money.
Basically.
For no reason, when the Cowboys could have had at least a 4th, 5th round pick. At least. But it's that cap.
It is that cap.
It's the cap.
It is that cap, but I mean, what else can we say? I mean, did Dallas screw the pooch on this one? Where do they go from there?
I mean, they really don't have a choice now because they've already set everything in motion. They've already told the people, hey, we don't want them. You can have them for free. Please. That's what they said. It's like, don't even waste your time sending you trade offers.
No. I mean, the only two teams that was really giving the Cowboys any kind of, rescindance of wanting to do a trade was the Texans and the Broncos. And then by the time the whole whispering in our ears about they were just going to release him, they're like, why are we going to give up any assets for this? This is an easy decision.
When you think about it, both teams technically aren't extremely desperate to the point where they have no choice but to trade for Tony Romo. Mm-hmm. Brock Osweiler, although he's not great, he's not the worst quarterback in the world.
No.
And the same with Simeon, in Denver. Mm-hmm. Not the worst quarterback in the world. I think the Broncos also have a young quarterback that I've always liked. I forget his name, but I know he's a big guy, and I've always liked him. Bringing in Romo would only give them the opportunity to have a starting quarterback who could deliver them possibly to the playoffs. But you and I both know Romo is no Elway. He's no Peyton Manning. He's not even a Jay Cutler.
Dang.
Okay, all right. Maybe I was going too far on that.
I'm about to say, I don't know about that. I mean, as much as we give crap about the Cowboys and their ability or inability to shoot themselves in the foot, I always give Tony Romo credit where credit is due. He is a heck of a quarterback.
He's a great season quarterback.
He's a great in-season quarterback, which is what people were talking about with Peyton Manning.
But Peyton Manning got over the hump.
Twice he got over the hump. He made it to the mountaintop twice, and the second time was more because of the defense, a la the Seahawks. Mm. Well, I mean, the Seahawks also had, Marshawn Lynch, but that's a totally different story. But people was making the same kind of comparison. Who knows? Maybe Tony finds his Peyton Manning moment. Although it's probably going to end up being in Denver, but I don't think he's going to have the receiving core that Peyton did.
I mean, really, they're going to have.
But to say that
similar, they're going to have similar.
To sit there and say that Jay Cutler, I'm going to go Stephen A. real quick. Jay Cutler is better than Tony Romo. That's just blasphemous.
You just did that. Jay Cutler was pretty good in Denver, though.
I can't believe you just said that.
He was good in Denver.
I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you just breathed those words into that microphone. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Are you saying that? Do I really have that written down on my notepad?
Exactly.
I mean, you don't think he was good in Denver?
I mean, he was okay in Denver.
I mean, Tony Romo's just okay in Dallas.
He only had maybe 3 good seasons in Dallas.
Yeah, I think Tony did great in Denver.
I mean, I know the Cowboy Nation fans are not going to be happy with me saying that, but he only had 3 really, really good seasons.
But I mean, unless the Cowboys, can we just say that the Cowboys don't win the Super Bowl, they'll never be satisfied. Of course,
they're not satisfied now. In fact, after they lost in the playoffs, they lost in the playoffs. They still didn't be quiet about it. They still had an excuse about it.
I mean,
There was the top seed in the conference, not the division, the conference. They had first round bye, they had home field advantage, and they still lost.
To a solid team.
I don't know. The Falcons might have something to say about that one.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
they were a solid team.
Okay, thank you. I'll say they ran the table, which, you know, Aaron Rodgers, you know, if you're listening right now, because he's a big fan of the show as well too. If you ever go to Vegas, I'm coming with you, and we're gonna make bank. Hashtag
I agree.
Straight cash, homie.
But my thing is, when you look at what the Cowboys did, and I mean, go back to what the Falcons did. In all reality, if Lady Gaga doesn't let their momentum out of the roof,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they win the Super Bowl.
You are still on about that whole Lady Gaga thing. You've been on that as soon as it happened. In fact, it was during.
I literally watched it. I was like,
halftime.
man, look at all that momentum they clouded as smoke leaves the building.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God! And I could see in Tom Brady's eyes. I saw Belichick writing these little notes. Tell Lady Gaga to have a lot of smoke. Smoke the momentum out. P.S. Bill, you're a genius. I'm just saying. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. But, you know, also speaking of things that did happen, I mean, we do have some other things going on. How about the G-Men, sir? The G-Men.
Well, we didn't even talk about, you know, what team Tony's gonna go to now.
Well, we did.
No, we kind of glanced at it. Then we kept talking about the Cowboys and their success failed more or less failed. And
I mean, come on. You know he's going to the Broncos. Let's stop it. That's what we just said. You said it.
I know I said it. I just didn't know if you had an opinion. I mean, the people want to hear
No,
what the doctor got to say.
I think that's it. I mean, he's going to the Broncos. I mean, the Texans, I don't even know why they're really in it. I mean, they were in the playoffs. They had a good run. They really just ran out of steam, which I really can't even really understand why they're not looking to re-sign their top free agent, which is their corner. That's the part that's kind of confusing me.
Yeah, did he end up getting anywhere yet?
Not yet, but I'm sure people are going to come calling. It's pretty stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty surprised that Jerry Jones has okayed this release. I know he loves himself some Tony Romo. I can think of, and this might sound
That's what we're about.
the New York Football Jets. Get rid of
You're gonna need to explain that one.
I mean, Fitzpatrick is terrible. They have they had. I'm sorry. They had pretty solid receiving core until they let Brandon Marshall go, who's next on our agenda. They still have a injury plagued wide receiving core. You got Matt Forte.
Yep.
The Jets made a pretty okay run when they brought in an older Brett Favre. They were pretty good when they brought in an older Vinny Testaverde. They were pretty good when they had an older Chad Pennington. Middle-aged Chad Pennington. I guess he was still
Yeah, I was about to say, that's kind of disrespectful.
It's disrespectful to me and this football business.
No, not that far, but almost there.
So maybe the Jets make a swing at it. Who knows?
Anything is possible?
Yeah, the Jaguars aren't in love with their quarterback. Obviously, there's always Browns to watch, but
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to the Browns. They would have to give out a whole bunch of money.
It's just something wrong with that notion. Like, makes me want to go outside and sweetkin someone.
But that's really it, though, honestly. I think it's one of those situations where, we'll definitely have to keep monitoring the situation, but ultimately, I think his best bet to win a championship would be the Broncos.
Yep, because, do you feel like the defense is still going to be top 10, or, what do you think their defense is going to be?
Depending on who comes back healthy, a lot of the injuries, you think about last year, they had to deal with Talib shooting himself or whatever happened.
Wait, Talib pulled a plexical burst?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, last year. So you had to deal with that.
I can't believe he just plexed himself into mediocrity like that.
But he came back pretty strong, so, got to be pretty happy with that. But, it's got to be the Broncos.
Yeah, it's going to be the Broncos, hands down, Just for the sake of argument, wanted to see if there was any other teams that you felt like could potentially, slide their way into that conversation now that he's a free agent.
Just the Jets.
Jets? Jets?
Yeah.
Well,
a team I would look out for who might be looking for a veteran quarterback who might come a little cheaper and more experienced than Ryan Fitzpatrick's stinky butt.
Don't be surprised if the Jets, if they can't land Romo, pick up Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy's not going anywhere.
Although they said they were still trying to trade him.
No, I think I read that the Browns are hoping that
they put him back. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I forgot about that one.
No, the Browns they're looking, man. They're looking. Well, I would call about that third string quarterback, honestly, at this point.
Oh, I know you're talking about the guy from NC State.
That's it. I would call for him. He seemed to show me a little Willie Beeman.
A little Willie Beeman. Oh, Stevie Beeman.
I'm just saying. Before he got hurt. But ultimately that's where I think he's going. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, speaking of Jets, let's continue down. Talk about the two teams in New York. Really, they're in New Jersey. But in New York, someone basically just went across the lockers to a new team.
I still don't understand what happened.
I didn't hear anything else about why he was released.
I didn't either.
I don't know if it's because of Cap. I don't know if it's just because of his attitude in the locker room. Granted, I don't think it's going to be a better situation in New York, but that's without saying.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't make any sense logically.
It doesn't. I really don't know what the world the Jets are doing. I assume they're starting over. I have to imagine that. They've always been a running team. You think back to Curtis Martin and some of the other great running backs that they've had. They just never had that success, which I was expecting to have with Matt Forte. But, with Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall, I was just like, what a great route wide receiving core. All they needed was maybe a tight end. Their offensive line has always been good, but we're talking about they let go of Mangold. Now they let go of Brandon Marshall. Obviously, there's a rift in the locker room somewhere, forcing them to get rid of some of their veterans. And I would expect that. I guess the Jets are going to be looking to go young, which would kind of take Tony Romo out of the picture. But I wouldn't be surprised if they take Tony Romo and draft a quarterback in the second round.
I can understand that. On a scheming standpoint, I mean, I like the move.
West Coast. They're going to go
Obviously,
West Coast.
exactly, like 3 big wide receivers, and I mean, sky's the limit right there for the Giants. But I talked about it. Sting October on Twitter talked about it.
Of course, in October talked about it.
I can't believe you just went there like that. I was like, wait, hold on, don't go in on him yet. Don't
Of
do it
course,
yet.
of course, in October talked about it.
Oh, of course. I mean, it
He's a
makes total
Giants
sense
fan.
because he is a Giants fan. So that
Yeah,
goes
he
without
is.
saying. But I mean, they still have issues with their offensive line.
They do.
I mean,
And
did
I
they
think
fix their defense last year?
somewhat.
I mean,
Somewhat.
I
Maybe it's
guess.
maybe it's going to take a year to gel. Because remember, they brought Steve Pagnola back in. I mean, they brought in all these high-priced players.
Hmm.
So I mean, we have to wait and see.
But their offensive line is still just absolutely abysmal.
So I mean, I guess that's where they'll go. I mean, it's going to be a lot of offensive linemen in the draft. And a lot of offensive linemen that just got released. I know that for sure. A lot of great offensive linemen,
Yep.
which is why I'm so upset that the Bucks are saying that they're happy with their offensive line because I am nowhere near happy with our offensive line. I was hoping that that was just like a typo or maybe some kind of miscommunication somewhere
It's no
because I
typo,
really,
friend.
I really want a new center. Like seriously, maybe a new tackle. I mean,
How many fumbles did your center cost last year? Do you know? Top of your head?
no, it was not. See, to me, it's not even about the centers. I mean, the center fumble, like the center exchange. It's more about see, Joe Hawley. His problem is he loses his head too often. So it's like we'll be sitting there. We might get it might be 2nd and 5, and then all of a sudden he'll do something stupid, and now it's 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20, and I'm like, oh my god, get that guy off the field. And then you got Dietrich Smith, Evan Dietrich Smith.
Hmm.
I just feel like he can't block. Like he just can't block. To me, at least. Get him out of here. Put him in a body bag, Johnny. Put him in a body bag, Johnny. Release him. Release the call.
I can't
Release
believe
the
you just
call.
said it like that.
Hey,
You sound really passionate about this right now.
because I mean, I wanted us to upgrade last year, but it's not about the Bucks. It's about Brandon Marshall and the Giants, and I say put those offensive linemen in a body bag as well.
Hmm. Well, talk about putting people in a body bag. I mean, we
Oh
can go to
my
our
god.
next subject
Oh my god.
and
I don't
talk
know
about
what's.
the mass exodus out there in the country capital.
I mean, we're talking about they're saying the GM is missing, the head coach just got an extension. Obviously, the Bucks and several teams are going after Deshaun Jackson.
Hmm.
Pierre Garcon is gone. I mean, I think they re-signed Vernon Davis. I think. I
Yes, they did.
think
They did resign
that,
Vernon Davis.
Kirk Cousins wants to leave. I mean, it's just too much.
Did we just talk about Kirk Cousins getting another franchise tag last week?
We did, and what you said, did he deserve it? I think you said, shout out to Harrison Barnes. He's one of your favorite players. I think you said something like that.
Chris, can we cut out that last comment made by the doctor?
I think you said something about, Harrison Barnes really deserving. Oh,
See, Chris
God,
always got my
Chris.
back. Chris always got my
Shut up,
back.
Chris. Chris, you shut up back there. Scott docked Chris's pay immediately.
Oh my goodness. No, Scott, don't do it.
He just did
Poor
it.
Chris.
Dropped $1 per hour. No, but they're leaving, and the Redskins are another team
On a big free fall.
that could be on Browns' watch as well. I hate, I hate that I use the Browns to measure success and
But
failure.
you kind of have to because when the last time they was in the playoffs?
I have no idea.
We might need a number check on that one.
No idea.
We might need a number check on the last time Browns made it into the playoffs. People out there on the stream, if you know, let us know.
But it's like, here we are. The Redskins were, I think, they always play great, and I feel like even though they switched coaches, they've stuck with their scheme, which is they're a running football team. But they're just not getting it right.
You're right.
So.
Oh, last time they made it into the playoffs was 2002 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course they lost.
They lost. Yeah, that's so crazy. 15 years, bro. 15 years.
I mean, we was in high school.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do you remember the last time the Browns what you were doing the last time the Browns made the playoffs?
Like, I'm waiting for that to be on, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that.
I have to put that out there on Twitter. What were you doing the last time the Browns went to the playoffs?
I was in the bathroom. What?
That could be a great hashtag.
The bathroom?
What were you doing the last time the Browns went to the playoffs?
In fact, I think that's something the doctor should be doing as we speak.
I could do that. I mean, I'm no troll master, but I can do it.
Ha. I see what you did there, though.
I think that with their team, I think that people just have to know what direction they're going in and really just make a consensus effort and decision to either move in a rebuilding stage or basically a competing stage.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it. Are you going to compete or are you rebuilding? Like, what are you doing here? Kirk Cousins is supposed to be your guy outside of RG3.
But how can he be your guy if you're not going to really commit to him, though? Like, that's the other problem.
Well, commitment. I mean, it's really more about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell that to the Ravens.
With who?
Joe Flacco.
I don't know why they paid Joe Flacco that much money. They probably haven't been to the playoffs really since.
They haven't been to the playoffs since. That's my point.
But that's against your point because commitment.
But that shows commitment saying, okay, we really like this guy. We want him to be the man. So let's give him the money.
That's not committing to team success.
So you tell me right now that the Redskins made it to the playoffs last year and made it at least to the divisional round, and they still decided to put another franchise tag on them. That's not showing commitment.
If they made it to the divisional round, it would probably have been because of that particular game that he would have not gotten an extension. If he played poorly, why would I extend him when I don't really know if this is the guy?
Well,
he could be Roman Reigns out there.
I was going to use a Roman Reigns analogy, actually.
I know you were. I could see it in your face. You were going to use Roman Reigns analogy.
But not to tear down the Redskin Nation Space Mountain.
I mean, they tear down themselves.
This is why you think the way that you think.
But not sorry. Yes. Sorry, but not sorry. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's keep going because that's going to become another depressing thing. Colin Kaepernick.
He's another quarterback.
Another quarterback out there trying for the taking.
Team.
Yes, to think about it. He really has to think about that.
A team should take a chance. I mean, how do you fall? How does he fall so much?
Wait, how you gonna say that, but then just say that the Redskins are justified by not paying Kirk Cousins?
Because we're talking about a difference of like $15 to $20 million. Like Cap's not getting $15 to $20 million.
Oh, absolutely not.
So I mean, you can take a chance and give him maybe 5 to 8, maybe even 5 to 10, because that's what the average quarterback. I think I'm reading reports that Mike Glennon is going to get $14 million, and
Yep,
he's
as
only
a backup.
no, he's going to start somewhere. I think
There's talk about some team that he might end up being a backup for.
not paying for the Bucks. The Bucks were offering him $7 million just to be a backup.
There, but he does want to start. But Colin Kaepernick, let's not jump off into the tangent about the Bucks.
Because you know I can do that very, very often.
I know, that's why we
are
gonna stay on point. We got Lucy in the back giving me the suck to make sure we stay on point. So.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. I think he's getting capped, obviously, because of the protest. People are still scared. I don't know.
I wouldn't say that he's getting capped. I think the proper word is blacklisted. Because of what happened.
But I mean, it's not just what happened. It was the fact that he wasn't winning either. If he had done all that when he was at the top of his game, like when he was actually that season, they went to the Super Bowl. Had he been kneeling all over the place, it'd have been perfect. But
that's still circumstantial though, because all the stuff that was happening last year wasn't as blown up out of proportion as it was that year when they made it to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's kind of pot kettle black kind of situation, right? I mean, granted, if he did it without justified cause, then he would have been another what? What's his name from the NBA?
Sharif?
Yes, Sharif. Abdul Rahim Sharif, that's his name.
Something like that. I think it's Sharif Abdul Rahim.
There you go. I apologize if we get the name wrong.
Nah, it's cool. It's pretty long there. I get it.
We blank Scott. He also does
Sharif?
research.
Well, no, it wasn't Sharif. I think it wasn't. It wasn't Abdul. It wasn't Sharif though. I think I know who you're talking about. It was not Sharif. It was the other one.
But you know who I'm talking about, though.
I do know who you're talking about. But my thing is, like, people always do that, compare it to him, but it's like, I think people also say that he was actually playing well at one point.
And he was playing very well.
Cap wasn't playing well throughout this whole thing.
I forgot what team he was playing, but it was like a top 5 team in the league, and he was just excuse the ears, kids. He was just doodling on him on that team the whole game, just straight dropping deuces. And it's just splashing. I'm sorry for the graphic scenario, but this is how us basketball players talk. I mean, we don't use the word, douches and, poopy and stuff like that, but you get the gist.
Crazy.
But, I mean, circumstantial.
I mean, but even when he did play, it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It wasn't really that great when he went to the Super Bowl, to be honest with you.
The system is really what made him good. I mean, he could obviously go to a team, which most likely he'll serve as a backup. Who knows? He'll probably come to Tampa and be a backup, for all we know.
I can see him going to Buffalo.
I don't know, because they're keeping Tyrod, so he's taking a pay cut, which we'll get into. But I don't think that's happening. I can see him going to the Jets. Again.
Jets? Jets.
Yeah. Anybody can go to the Jets, honestly. Anybody.
So James Wilson can go to the Jets right now?
Technically, he could. Via trade, he could. If they're giving us everybody in return, and all 7 draft picks.
That's what I was waiting for. I was like, if you would just say, just. Oh man, this is why we love doing this for you people. By the way, Debates Among Friends today is brought to you by.
What?
I mean, if you're gonna do
No,
the official and
I'm
unofficial
actually.
sponsor,
Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know because I can't even say that. We can talk about the official sponsor,
oh yes, you gotta tell us
Stella.
about what you're drinking tonight.
Tonight, I'm actually drinking the great state of North Carolina's own Hell's Bells.
Tell people what it is, what it
Well,
tastes like.
actually quite delicious. It's actually a Belgium style ale by Big Boss, is the manufacturer. I discovered this beer one day. I went to a restaurant. Really nice waiter named Charles was describing them to me, and I was reading them at the same time. And I was like, you know, let's go with the Hell's Bells. Let's go with the Hell's Bells. And then I went to another place actually over the weekend, and I was like, you know what? This Hell's Bells wasn't too bad. I'm gonna get it again. And then I said, oh, I finally saw it in the supermarket, so I picked it up. Hell's Bell, pretty delicious.
Finally introduced our unofficial official sponsor.
Stella. That's
Perfect. Thank you very much.
why. You got it, Sam. But no, Kaepernick is getting capped. He's getting blacklisted. But I think he'll bounce back.
He should. He should. Unfortunately, I think it might be like 2-3 years to finally bounce back. Like, it's not gonna be like a Michael Vick, but I mean,
See, Michael Vick got the raw. The man,
yeah, that's a tricky situation.
he got the raw end of the deal though, because I could see if I know it was his house, but it's like sometimes you don't know. You're on the road for 8 months out of the year.
Hmm.
Like you don't know people are dogfighting and burying dogs in your backyard. It's crazy. But I know we have to move on. So many other topics to discuss. Adrian Peterson. So two teams emerged that Adrian Peterson might want to play for.
Hmm.
One in which I mentioned last week, the Oakland Raiders. But the other one that's pretty surprising, which I would love to see how that would play out on paper, could be like one of those Los Angeles Lakers teams that didn't really go too far, like the one with Karl Malone and stuff.
Hmm.
If he goes to the Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, their run game is okay. It can
Think
still
about
always be better.
if they had Adrian
Um,
Peterson.
Russell Westbrook is a quarterback who does do a lot of snaps under center.
But what if they had Adrian Peterson?
See, I think the problem is people are going to look at that kind of move and automatically think of, him basically taking over what Marshawn Lynch did when he left. But
But there's
I
a
don't think we
need.
should do that.
There's a need.
There's a need in the receiver core.
I think their receivers are pretty good. That's what Jimmy Graham was for, really. I think he's the person that has to go. But then again, if you get a good running game, maybe it opens it up with Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
there's
that's a possibility. I mean, I could see it. I just think everyone's going to expect to see Beast Mode 2.0 with AP.
I don't think so. There'll never be another. I can't say there'll never be another beast mode like that.
I'm only saying this because, our good buddies at First Take is going to mention it. The people at Undisputed is going to mention it. People at NFL Live. Someone's going to mention this.
Beast mode.
They're going to mention Beast Mode and AP in the same sentence as this is coming into fruition.
Adrian Peterson has never been a beast mode candidate. Like he's never been I'm gonna run you
I'm
over.
only saying this because I'm correct.
I don't know. I have to disagree slightly only because Adrian Peterson, since his college days and early days, he really hasn't ran over anybody, and I don't think he can run over anybody at this point either. So I mean, it's like it's going to be a. I think the running back they have now is running people over.
Yep.
Um, he's a little beast mode 2.0, but Adrian Peterson's really going to be more of a shake and bake kind of guy.
Oh, kind of
Shaking,
like a yeah, yeah,
shaking, shake and bake.
shaking bacon.
I'm just saying. So I don't know. I mean, but like I said, if he goes to the Oakland Raiders, New England has a problem.
If he goes to Oakland Raiders, and Carr comes back completely healthy, 100%.
Hmm We're talking about somebody that could be like the could have been Bo Jackson
Yeah.
almost. Like I liked. Don't get me wrong. I like the running backs that the Raiders have,
Mhm.
but if they get Adrian Peterson that can run for almost 2,000 yards, and they still have Michael Crabtree, they still have a pretty solid offensive line.
They also have a Pro Bowl fullback too.
Championship.
It's gonna be hard
Yeah,
to deny it now.
yeah, they're gonna be up there. They're gonna be
I mean,
challenging.
technically speaking, they were championship contenders last year
They were
before the
until
injury.
he hurt his pinky toe or something like that. He shot his pinky toe.
I can't believe you just went Harlem Nights there.
No, he I think he hurt his index finger or something.
Who?
Car. Didn't he hurt his finger or something? He break his arm. It was something with his hand or arm or something. Was it thumb or something?
It was his leg. Leg. I will
Nah,
confirm. That's okay.
I thought it was something on his hand. Leg. Leg. Don't talk about no leg.
You might be right. It
Yeah.
might be hand.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was. I mean,
It really doesn't matter. He couldn't play the playoffs. Like,
yeah, he couldn't play the playoffs. And it stunk, you know. Oh, it was his
it was
leg.
his
You're right.
leg. Broken fibula. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. How the heck was his hand?
I feel
He
like
probably would
hurt
have been
his
out there
hand.
and threw it with his offhand just to give his team a chance. Because they
I feel
needed
like
something.
I feel like he hurt his hand earlier in the season or something. Then maybe that's what it was. Somebody hurt their hand. Um, but yeah, if he goes there and Carr is healthy, I think we're on to something.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully they just lose to the Bucks again in the Super Bowl. That'd be great.
Oh, the shade.
I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just
You
saying.
better be careful, sir. We're gonna be going to Evo in a few months, and they'll hear this. They'll be like, "Who is that doctor fella?" And I'm like,
That guy right there.
"Like, you should probably check my Twitter. It'll tell you that is not me."
It's fake. It's a fake. It's a fake.
Oh my goodness! Gonna pull up Bad Boys. Yeah, you know, he has pictures
mean-
of me all over his house. You know, for
Oh,
all the
you get-
times that for all the
All you
times
gotta
that
see-
he saved my life on the air.
All you gotta do is you gotta see nothing but Axel Foley and
Axel
Zero all over the
Foley.
place.
Well, not Zero, it's Kabuto.
You know, Caputo is my band. But moving on, because I think those are the two options for Adrian Peterson. I mentioned Mike Glennon.
Yes, let's.
Nobody $7 million. Yep. And our next topic is. Nah, I'm just
Seriously?
kidding.
Like, I could keep going. Like,
No,
let's go.
no.
You
The
sure?
The Bears will be who we thought they were if they pay $15 million to Mike Glennon when there are so many quarterbacks in the draft that they can go out and get. I think he's a great quarterback. I thought he was going to be good under Raheem Morris, then going into Greg Schiano.
And you really like Raheem Morris.
I did, and I think Mike Glennon would have been pretty good under those two regimes. Lovey wasn't really feeling it, and I think that was one move that I think really hurt Lovey. Because had he given him a chance and not like gone after the old guy and gave the young guy a chance because he might have been faster, stronger, and hey, he could have played 60 minutes of football, baby, then he probably would have got another chance. But because he went out there immediately
Hmm.
and went out and got, oh my God, that bum. Oh my God, I don't even want to say his name. It was so
You have to.
terrible.
You have to.
No, I don't want to say it.
It's for the people.
Oh my God, Josh McCown.
Your
They went.
boy.
Oh God, Josh McCown. And don't get me wrong, Josh had a great season in Chicago. He had that season before. It was great, but oh my God, Mike Glennon was right there. Easy, could have easily just played Mike Glennon.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, save the
you know
money.
what they always say: the easiest decision is never the one.
But I mean, I think Mike Glennon has waited his time. He might get a golden opportunity to really start in Chicago. And I mean, if he does decide to do that, more power to him. I just know that $7 million, that's a lot of money for a backup.
For a backup.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't even see Jameis, you know, getting benched anytime soon.
It's not even just about getting benched, it's about getting hurt. I mean, you always hope that he doesn't, that's why you want a quality backup, but $7 million is a lot
I
of
don't.
uh,
I think when it comes to durability, like him and Cam has a lot of similarities.
right. But
They're
I
both
mean, every
big,
once every
strong. They're both big, strong QBs. Granted, Cam keep getting hit in the head, but we talked about that a lot.
but every once in a while, Derek Anderson will come in, spell him for a little bit,
Oh
sometimes
gosh.
spell him for a game, and he usually does pretty well.
Oh gosh. All I could think about with Derek Anderson was that first throw at the beginning of the game.
But I mean, sometimes, man,
Asuke.
you know how it is sometimes.
I do.
No, but I mean, ultimately, I wish Mike Glennon the best of luck. And hey, maybe he says, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with the Bucks.
Happen. Anything is possible these days. Anything is possible.
You know how it is.
Yeah. Let's move on before you start boohooing a little bit for the people. Let's talk about something that we're both passionate about. Kawhi
LeBron
Leonard.
James.
No, we're not passionate about LeBron James at all. How dare you say that? Get out the studio right now. I said get out!
I'm leaving.
The Baseball Friends is canceled. Chris, cut the show right now. I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that.
So apparently, Stephen A. Smith made some comments that really just ticked the Professor John Gotti off.
He
And I would like to give you
said,
the first take on this.
oh gosh, I see what you did there too. Shout out to the first take. If y'all want us on the show, I don't have a problem taking you out of school. I will
Uh-oh.
put down the facts. I don't even talk numbers on here anymore, but I could put down the numbers, advanced stats, advanced to the advanced stats, the advanced to the advanced stats. I will own you, Stephen A. Smith. I will own you.
All right, now don't write a check now. Don't write a check. You'll
There's a
be
reason why
hot.
they. This is the reason why they call me the Troll Master.
Ooh, Troll Master. Who's the master? John Gotti.
Oh gosh. Okay, we need to stop that right now. Right now. But he basically
I
stated
can't
that.
hear you.
Oh my goodness. I
John Gotti.
can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Stephen A. Smith mentioned on first take that what hurts Kawhi Leonard is also his biggest strength when it comes to being voted for MVP. And that factor is called Greg Popovich.
Which I didn't really understand when I first saw it. or heard it. So I was like, John Gotti Plus, explain to me what your boy Stephen A. Smith is talking about and your opinion on it, sir. Like, what the heck?
I didn't know, and I've been following basketball since I was a little kid. I
Sure.
never knew that being considered for the MVP and winning the MVP was also based on who's your coach. I could have sworn Shaquille O'Neal won the MVP when Phil Jackson was his coach. Could have sworn Michael Jordan won the MVP with Phil Jackson as his coach. Now Kawhi Leonard has Greg Popovich, who's the greatest coach of the current era, and now that's apparently is a hindrance for him to win the MVP or even be in the top three. Because most of the people have Kawhi Leonard at number 5. LeBron's
No.
number 4.
Which I know you have a problem with, and we could definitely get to that in a second.
I have a big problem with it, and it's
But
all about
don't discuss your problem.
basics.
Don't discuss your problem yet, because
I have
that's
a
the
lot of
next.
problems. I have a lot of
I
problems
know.
with strapping folks.
Don't
But
discuss
that's
don't discuss
besides the
that
point.
problem yet, because that is
But
the next topic.
I never knew that who is your coach had any consideration towards whether or not you are a top 3 candidate. Because if that was the case, then Chris Paul would be a multiple-time MVP.
No, let me explain that.
Because he was always either number 4 or number 5. He was always right there in the consideration of argument. But he would never win it. Meanwhile, LeBron James had who? Mike Brown? Winning 60-plus games?
Well, see, now you're proving Stephen A's point, though, in a sense.
No.
So don't go too far. Don't go too far with this, because now you're starting to prove his point.
No.
And this is what I'm gonna say. Hold on now. I'm gonna say, because you're proving his point. You said Mike Brown. Now you're just going too far.
No. See, I was gonna use that, but I'm saying it sarcastically. I'm not being serious about that.
You can't. But see, now you didn't help Stephen A. a little bit.
No, I would never help.
Your sarcasm has gone too far.
I will never help Stephen A. because he said certain things that people of this show do not agree with. He said things that we do agree with. But he says certain things because he works for a network that pays him a lot of money to say their words.
Right.
Instead of his own. And then eviscerate his statements by being flamboyantly loud and using big terminology and wordings to attempt to elude his point and make himself sound smarter than everyone else.
This is what I would say, sir. I understand both sides of the argument. But what I can't let you do is sit here and tell me that you're going to use Mike Brown as an example.
Sarcastically. That was sarcastically. But I understand. Once again.
All right. So I can understand why he was
on a higher standpoint level, I understand Stephen A's point. I get it.
But you hate the fact that it's a point.
The MVP trophy is really who is the best offensive player in the league now.
Which is debatable between James Harden and Russell Westbrook.
Thank you.
My man, James Harden.
Well, I mean, literally it's just going to be between the two. And someone said if Russell Westbrook end up going below triple-double for the season, then it's going to be whoever else is going to win that.
Honestly, I'm going to be so mad, first and foremost. And I want you to know this right now. He's looking at you, kid. He's looking at you. If James Harden and the Houston Rockets win 50-plus games and get anywhere above the 4th seed, and Russell Westbrook gets anything less than a 6th seed, I expect James Harden to win the MVP. It really just depends on who goes the distance, I guess. You know, who goes the distance. But with Kawhi Leonard,
The Spurs are number 2, only 2.5 games back from the Warriors.
But the scoring is not there. And that's what Stephen A was talking about as far as Greg Popovich. But I don't think it's Greg Popovich's fault because they're not even running the same offense that they used to run where they were doing all kinds of passing, sharing the ball. Like they're not doing that old Spurs offense where everybody's just selfless and not really looking for their numbers because
Yeah.
Kawhi has definitely been taking the final shots. He's been,
I
doing some.
mean, just look at the last couple of days ago when he faced off against your Rockets. As much as you dislike the fact that your Rockets lost, you
I
have to
mean,
marvel and appreciate the fact that he played with so much flipping passion.
I can. I mean, I'm not a sore loser. So I mean, I don't like losing, but I'm not a sore loser. I mean,
Yep.
occasionally I rage quit from time to time, but I think that at the end of the day, you look at players and you go, well, that effort, is not what they're looking for in the MVP. They're not caring so much about effort, and
Absolutely.
it's really just about, hey, who's scoring the most. It might not even be about assists and rebounds. So, like I said, Russell Westbrook doesn't have to do all the things that he does. He really doesn't. The Rockets play small ball a lot, so James Harden, everybody's rebounding on the Rockets. I think I've seen several games where Patrick Beverly's had like 6 or 7 rebounds. Ariza's had 6 or 7 rebounds.
Yep.
Everybody's rebounding and running. Russell Westbrook, he's got bigs. He had bigs. Actually, they got a lot of bigs.
They have a
I
lot of
mean,
bigs.
they got Cantor, they got Adams, they got Gibson now. Now they got McBuckets. I mean, they got a whole bunch of bigs.
They do.
So for him to be, he doesn't have to.
And it looks like the only MVP to ever win to never be, well, actually, he never even made the playoffs, was Kareem, 1975-76.
But he probably dominated. Would you say he probably dominated?
Did.
Dang right he did. Because his
But,
mother
I
flipping
mean,
Kareem. Mother flipping Kareem.
potentially we're going to have a Kareem moment where
We're,
someone who's
we're,
not even in the top 4.
we're not. Not in this NBA.
Right.
Not in this NBA. We're never going to have somebody like that.
We're never going to have
Never.
anyone lose the finals and, win the MVP. That's never happening.
Because by default, they'll give it to LeBron before they do anything. Your favorite
That's the
player.
part that's stupid, though.
It doesn't matter how stupid it is. That's what they will do.
But like
I
my
hate it.
argument for that's my whole argument with Kawhi because he's literally the best two-way player in the league.
He is.
He has pretty much offensively almost the same stats as LeBron James. Almost people out there
Well,
before
hold
y'all
on now. Are you
decide to
moving?
jump.
Now, are you moving over to the next topic? Are you closing up? Like, what are you doing? Are you blending? Are we blending?
It's pretty much blended. It's pretty much it. We are
Okay.
blended.
We are blended. All right. So, Lebanon James has had some great games this season. Obviously, his numbers are down because he's getting older. He's probably tired, if anything.
He's played
Uh,
the most minutes in like the past 5 years by himself.
so, Kawhi Leonard is a great all-around player.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James, great athlete, great athletic player.
Thank
Let me
you.
be very careful with that. Okay.
Yes. LeBron Maniacs out there.
Russell Westbrook, great all-around athlete, great all-around player.
The angriest player in the NBA today.
If he could score any other way, I guess it would just be his mid-range outside of that pull-up at the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got James Harden, who's euroing his way to the MVP.
I see what you did there. That
Literally
was pretty clever.
euroing his
That
way
was
to
really
the
clever.
MVP.
I really like that.
I mean, ultimately, I could see why all four of them are there, but I could see your point as to why Kawhi Leonard should be number 3 But you said Kawhi Leonard's number 5.
Kawhi Leonard on most people's list is number 5.
So who's number 3 and 4?
Number 4 is LeBron. I don't think they ever mentioned who number 3 is.
No, they need to mention who number 3 is. That's very important.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can still do our top 5, so that's
I mean,
perfectly fine.
who the bleep would be number 3? Carmelo?
No, even as a Knicks fan, I'm gonna say that's just stupid.
Oh God! Is it I know some people mentioned Kyrie, or maybe the Greek Freak.
No, it would have to be Kyrie.
Mm,
I think most people probably even put Kevin Durant in there.
not anymore.
But then, people say, well, not anymore now, but, people would argue that point by saying, he left OKC and went to Golden State. Here's the deal. And it might be an I'm sorry in there.
Uh-oh.
Kevin Durant was a free agent.
He was.
Which means he could go to any team he chosen.
Any team he chose.
It just so happened he picked a team, and someone on a YouTube video mentioned this. And I forgot his name right now, but shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he mentioned that Kevin Durant didn't go to the team that won 73 games last year.
Right, he didn't.
Because if it was the same squad and he just added on to it, maybe they got rid of someone who wasn't really playing, then the argument makes a legitimate point. And when he said it, at first I had to hear it twice just to make sure I understood what he meant.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of key pieces.
They did. Well, no.
I mean, not
they gave away several pieces, but really they didn't. Oh, none of the people that they gave away you care about.
Yeah, it's true. Princess Peach.
Yeah, Princess Peach, Harrison Barnes. Like freaking what's his name? Like,
Ezeli?
yeah, you didn't care about any of those people.
Well, I mean, of course I didn't.
Obviously they
the
didn't
people
either.
did.
No, I don't think anybody. I haven't even heard Festus Ezeli name like 1 or 2 times. I actually haven't heard it at all this season.
Coming back from surgery for something too. It's actually
What
pretty
team?
serious.
What team is he on?
I don't know. I don't care.
Exactly.
All I know
Only
is they
thing we
mentioned
know.
about him.
All we know is that Princess Peach is out for the season.
I see what you did there.
Okay,
Good job, sir.
that's all we know. Princess Peach is out. But I mean, you're right though. Kevin Durant had a choice. He chose the Warriors. They're not the same team. They went out and got some young players. Steve Kerr kept a solid 7, 8 players.
Yep.
And he's rocking with them.
I mean, it still doesn't, negate the fact that they're only 2.5 games ahead of San Antonio.
But I think people expected too much from them. I think people expected them to be an 80-win team because of Durant, but it's like you still have to play basketball. You know what I mean?
I mean, first of all, they need to just go back to playing their Ks.
Right.
Because that's never going to happen in the NBA. Ever is going to happen in the NBA.
I think if anybody was going to do it, it would have either been that team last year.
Yep.
Or LeBron James's, I think, 60 whatever win team that they had. I think they had 67 or 68 wins or something like that. It was pretty up there, 65. The Spurs would have did it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the Spurs, Cavs, or Warriors would have did it. If they're not doing it,
no one's doing it.
Yeah, it's not happening.
And if they do it, that would bring more scrutiny towards the league.
It would. Which I never understand why the league doesn't expand. Both leagues, NFL and NBA. I think there's so many players out there, so many markets that can be tapped into. I always wondered why they didn't expand, which is why I like playing 2K17 because it allows you to go ahead and basically create a new team, which you saw I created the Yukon Huskies.
Yep.
And took DeAndre Jordan from mediocrity to finals MVP.
You did. I can't get mad at that.
I said he's going to be my anchor. And, I mean, he's actually stepped up his game. I'm pretty happy with him. Speaking of us being happy with and for people, how about that Dirk Nowitzki?
Yes.
Reaching the 30,000 point club.
He's number 6 all time in the NBA scoring.
I believe it.
So there's only 5 people ahead of him.
5 people.
And if he was to stay maybe 2 more years, and we know that's not going to happen.
No, unless he does a Paul Pierce and goes from starter to 6-man to 10 minutes a game.
Hilarious. Here's the 5 people that's ahead of him. Number 5, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 4, his airness. Number 3, Kobe. Number 2, Karl Malone. And number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
My man, Kareem. And how much is the gap between him and number 5?
The gap for that is 1,114 points.
What's the one? Number 4.
2,287.
So if he was to play one more year, he probably would jump up to like number 4, maybe number 3.
Maybe.
But I don't see that happening. But congratulations to him, though. Definitely.
No, absolutely. Like, I think he's the only European on that list. In the top 6.
Yeah.
Even the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to him, though. Definitely. I mean,
is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely.
I mean, he came in and really changed the whole outlook for Dallas.
He
they were
changed the
really
whole
terrible.
outlook of the game to the point to where we have, 7-footers shooting threes all the time. KP.
This is true. KP is something different, though. We could definitely talk about that.
KP, oh my gosh, that's gonna be another day, though.
That's another day. Hopefully the Knicks don't let him off the hook.
If the Knicks trade off KP, I will quit being a Knicks fan.
You can't do that.
I can do whatever I want.
You can't do that, sir.
I'm saying it right now. I will stop being a Knicks fan immediately.
You want me to denounce my throne? I now denounce my fandom. I will no longer be a Knicks fan. I am no longer a fan of the New York Knicks.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Coming to America.
Oh God. But speaking of denouncing, what do you think about this whole Shaq and JaVale McGee thing? How come these commentators don't just know their role and stick to the facts? Why do they have to give so many opinions that really don't make any sense?
It's not so much his opinions that caused this issue. It was emphasizing, re-emphasizing, and, someone mentioned cyberbullying, but maybe that was too far, but, like, just being a gnat to someone.
I feel like they do that very often.
I mean, for the case of JaVale McGee, yes, they did go too far. Yes, he did some stuff this year, but when I was reviewing the stuff and people made montages of it, and I was listening to analysts, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, as they was doing what they was doing this year, they also kept going back into his past.
Right,
and
you
talking
can't do
about that. And that's what I knew. That's when I realized they really crossed that line. Like, if they do it this year, whatever. Like, we all have moments where we did something stupid on the court. I've done stupid stuff on the court.
I mean, people have stuff on the court where birds were laughing at them.
Oh, shout outs to Senior October.
Good old October.
I'm so sorry, guys. I can't believe you went there.
Hello, ladies.
I can't believe we just did that. We're gonna move on. Let's keep going.
Let's hold on.
But that's where they crossed the line, though, when they just kept going back into what he was doing, and they saying, "Well, he's not a weekly occurrence," and maybe they're true about that, but keep comparing what he did in the past and what he's doing currently too much. I mean, granted, we're all analysts supposed to do that anyway, but they did it so much in a negative light. They're not really looking at all the good things he was doing for the Warriors this year, because he is doing an okay job. He's not doing a great job. He's okay.
I mean, he's gonna be better than Princess Peach. I guarantee that.
Well, I mean, all I gotta say is, he lasted longer than 2 minutes, which is longer than Brock Lesnar and Kevin Owens combined.
Dang. Cold blooded. But before we jump into
Unity.
the next topic, which
but
does
but
include Shaq.
but back to the whole JaVale McGee issue. Isn't it funny that it took both their mothers for this whole thing to go down? Finally end. Wasn't that funny?
I mean,
Am I not
sometimes.
the only person who found that to be like schoolyard playground funny?
But Shaq is a big kid. I mean,
He is a big kid.
I don't know how JaVale McGee is, but that's how, I mean, these guys are out there and they're just having fun. And that's a good thing about being in the media is that you can have fun, but I mean, you also have to know when to shut it down.
Yes. Yes. And some people on NBA TV. It's not so much of it being just Shaq. A lot of that blame do need to go to TNT. But the problem is, Shaq is the figurehead for it. It is called Shaqing a fool after him.
Shaq and a fool.
So, as much as we want to point the fingers at TNT, which they so readily deserve it, they need to start with Shaq going, you know what? We really need to stop messing with character.
No, that's not happening.
I'm Shaquille
just
O'Neal.
pushing it. No, you just pushing it.
I got 4 championship rings. I'm a Hall of Famer.
Well,
Bad boys, baby. Bad boys.
Bad boys. Oh God, John Gaddy. Let's look over some scores, man. Oh my God.
Yes.
So right now, the Rockets are down to the Jazz 73-67, third quarter. Hornets are losing to the Heat, who are on a nice little streak there. They're streaking, which everybody seems to be streaking, which we'll definitely talk about later.
We're supposed to talk about the Heat, but maybe we'll do that another week.
Yeah, the Heat are playing pretty well. They're playing pretty well, 96-89 against the Hornets. The Nets are losing to the Hawks, 92-86. The Pistons and Pacers are tied 65 apiece.
Yep.
The Clippers are losing to the Timberwolves 63-69. Your New York, go New York, go New York. Knicks are beating the Milwaukee Bucks 73-67. The Raptors, I mean, just give them the benefit of the doubt. The Raptors are beating the Pelicans 55-51. Yikes. And the Kings just so happen to be beating the Spurs 63-48 at halftime. Shout out to the Kings. Wizards are beating the Nuggets 35-28. The NBA's Browns. The Bulls trail to the Magic. Actually, the Bulls lost to the Magic tonight, 98-91. And later on tonight, we have Isaiah Thomas versus Steph Curry as the Celtics take on the Warriors, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard.
And by the way, shout out to Buddy Hield, who was just traded to the Kings. He scored 11 points off the bench.
Just saying. I mean, and you saw it. I mean, they're fine. They're going to be okay. Willie Cauley-Stein's going to have to grow up. I mean, you saw what he almost did.
I don't think Kawhi Leonard is playing tonight, so that
that could be why. Maybe that could be why Stephen A. Smith was saying it's on Greg Pop.
They're losing at halftime.
I mean, maybe that's what Stephen A. Smith was talking about. I mean, I'm just saying.
Move on because I feel like that I'm gonna end up getting into a Twitter war with Stephen A. Smith. I like Stephen A. Smith as a professional.
I understand, and just to confirm, it doesn't look like the Stars are playing because I don't see. Well,
Manu is,
It's not really. It's not Manu I was talking about. I mean, it's really just
Kawhi in LA.
Yeah, but I don't know if we've really seen LA at all this season. He's another person that's really disappeared. He should have never went to San Antonio.
Nope.
But that's another story. Speaking of bigs disappearing, The Big Show, who's lost a whole ton of weight, called Shaq fat today as their match seems to be canceled.
I, I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest.
It would have been stupid.
Look at the bright side, okay? And I'm gonna be real, because I would have said this on 4S podcast, but I know it's been too controversial. I needed to say it for this one, but that's why I didn't go on there. One of the reasons. Other reason was it kind of had to work, but that's the point.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, it would have been a barn burner.
Really?
You can't.
You started with that? You started with barn burner?
It's gonna be a little bit of a barn burner.
Why?
Because Shaq doesn't wrestle.
Oh my God! Neither did Karl Malone or Dennis Rodman.
But it will never end. Doc and Proc means ever be as bad as WrestleMania 11 main event. Bam Bam Bigelow versus LT.
And LT? So I thought LT did okay. He did some shoulder tackles. They were great.
He basically did John Cena before John Cena even was a wing.
He really did. It was really great. He was really great. But I didn't think it would be bad as Karl Malone. Karl Malone was really bad.
Really?
Throwing that DDP sign up there. It was really terrible.
Really? I mean, David Arquette, Jay Leno. I mean, really?
The whole thing. That's why they're no longer in existence. I mean, bad decision like that. I don't know what they were thinking. Dennis Rodman made sense because he's crazy. But Karl Malone was kind of like, what the heck are we doing?
I mean, can we even just talk about just having actors and sports figures coming into wrestling and attempting to actually do a wrestling match with someone who basically spent most of their life training to do this?
I mean,
what do you feel about that?
I mean, maybe
other than the business factor, because I agree it's great
Sure.
thing for money. I'm talking about as a wrestling fan, because you're a wrestling fan at the end of the day. I don't want you thinking like Vince. I want you to think like all of these other smarty marks, as people like to eloquently state.
Well, when you see Shane McMahon and the Mean Street Posse go out there and wrestle, then you know that you can wrestle. Okay.
Okay, to counter argument, Shane did train.
I'm sure he did.
And one of the guys from the Mean Street Posse did train, but the other two did not.
Of course they didn't. And those are the two that I was talking about.
Yes. You probably should just start your argument with that. Yeah.
Pete Gas and whatever the other guy's
Rodney,
name.
the other one. Yeah.
There you go.
I think the only person that we keep remembering is Pete Gas because that was just a stupid name.
It really was.
Didn't even like their song either.
It was pretty dumb. But I don't really like it, but I understand because when you think about it, football players tend to always wrestle. Just think about it. Football players transition to wrestling very often.
All I can think about when you said that was Big E's reaction when Kofi said that on
right.
Table for Three.
He did. He's like, these football players coming over and wrestling. I mean, it's true.
It is true. it's very true.
They're retiring from football and going to wrestle. It's crazy.
Some of people's favorite wrestlers were football players.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Brock.
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Roman.
Yeah.
Ron Simmons.
Even Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
I know Sabby Piscatelli, former Buccaneer. I always thought he was going to be great.
Yep.
He's in NXT still, I believe. But when you think about it, basketball players, I don't know.
Much.
Not so much.
I mean, can we even name a former basketball player who ended up being a successful wrestler? Does anyone know that on stream? I mean, anyone?
I know I don't think so. I really don't. I can't even think of any. I mean, Kareem went and did something with Bruce Lee. That was probably the closest we could get.
Different.
But I don't think so. Nothing too crazy. I mean, David Arquette might have been too far.
David Arquette was very far. Him and Jay Leonard was definitely too far.
Only reason it made sense with Arquette was because they were doing that Ready to Rumble movie, and they were trying to push it.
Well, apparently, according to this wiki page. Frickin' Enzo and Cass, also football players.
Wow.
I forgot about that.
See, I would have never knew
So,
that.
really interesting. According to this wiki, and I probably need to confirm by checking on one name especially, some of the names who used to play basketball.
So are we talking basketball or are we talking like NBA?
We're talking about just NBA?
Yeah, it would have to be NBA because a lot of these guys, like they were NFL guys or they were like college guys who were potentially going to the NFL. You know, they all can't be Brock Lesnar and
I mean,
Goldberg.
how funny would it have been like if Tim Tebow decided to become a wrestler?
It would have went. It probably would have went against his.
It would have went insanely. I mean,
Yeah.
Vince would have been like, I can't believe you just did the Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find too many NBA players.
I don't think there's a lot of them.
If any at all.
I think they mostly come from
Football. Yeah,
from
football.
Yep.
That's why it's like, okay, we can do without that, you know?
Well, apparently Joel Embiid once got introduced as like a pro wrestler on a game like back in January. I actually kind of want to watch that.
All right, Chris. You shut down his mic whenever you get a chance.
No, never, never, never.
All right, sir. So we should probably move into this fast lane because the people want to get into this terrible
We're
pay-per-view.
gonna cut the show early because we really don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, it was 22 seconds worth. I mean, wasn't it though?
I can't believe you just went there. I'm really mad that you just went there.
So, all right. So seriously, all right. So out of top, rating it from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, of course, 1 being the worst. The whole pay-per-view, what would you give it? You're usually a harsh critic.
I mean, let me be honest. Okay, so here's my criteria. For it to get a 5, it has to be great wrestling from the beginning of the show to the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
No fillers, no stupid little gimmicks in between. Great wrestling, which is why NXT takeovers tend to get really big marks for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one match that gotten higher than a 3.
What match was that?
And that was the Cruiserweight match.
Okay.
That one gotten basically a 4.25. It was that good.
Yeah.
The main event gotten a 0.
The main event got a 0.
It's the first time I ever gave a match a 0. Because we all knew what was coming.
Yeah.
We all knew. I knew. You knew. People out there, we all knew Kevin Owens wasn't going to win it. But the fact that he lost it in under 30 seconds, under 25 seconds, made me go outside and puke. Hypothetically and literally.
I give it a 3.5.
But the pay-per-view itself, I give a 3. Literally, that Cruiserweight match helped it out, but a lot of those finishes to other matches hurt it so much.
I would give it a
That women's title
3.5.
match was such a bad finish. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it 3.5. I mean, I do think the cruiserweight title match was good. Um, I somewhat enjoyed Joe versus Sami Zayn. Somewhat. Um, obviously, the Bailey versus Charlotte wasn't the greatest thing I had ever seen.
No.
But honestly, I think my expectations were so low for Roman versus Braun, which I had a conversation with, um, you know, the one of the admins from the Game Runners Facebook group we're a part of. I was pretty impressed with both Roman and Braun. Like, I would have never known they would be able to put on a 3.5 to 3.8 match.
Didn't you give that match a high score because it seemed like carried Roman? I believe that's
No,
what you said.
no, I said this is a match where I felt like they didn't have no, no, and more no's. I said the pace. I said the pace was good. I said nobody really carried anyone. I think I said Roman had the best selling face of his entire
But he has the
career so
same
far.
face.
Nah, this one was perfect. This would be. It was so perfect. It was great timing.
He
It
looked
was
like a kicked puppy.
believable. Somebody kicked the heck out of that puppy. Then it was perfect. Um, it was spot
That's
on.
evil. That's evil. You know that,
And
right?
hey, you said it. I
I
just
say he
agreed with
looked
you,
like a kicked puppy.
and you would be correct.
Okay.
um, so I gave it a 3.5. Obviously, the ending was kind of like, ooh, I can't believe they did that, but they did it, and there's no going back. But like I said, I think honestly, the one thing that we, well, I know I said the pay per view really just started going downhill once Bailey botched that move.
Really? Just Billy? Was it really?
No, I said after she botched that move, like that was the beginning of the end of the
I
pay per
mean,
view.
what do you thought about the tag team match?
Well, the tag team division is just so lost right now because they don't really know what to do. They really should have just kept it with the New Day. I don't really know why they went away from the New Day.
But
Uh,
that's why I said everything has to be graded and then
mm,
culminated together
well,
in order
no, I
for it to
mean
have.
3.5 because I mean you think about it. I think that I agree. I think that the cruiserweight title match would have been 4 because those headbutts were really crazy.
Yep.
Um,
Well, not
but
even just that, but the fact that they literally wrestled like straight New Japan style.
no, it was perfect. It was really perfect. I mean, the tag team match, it was expected. Enzo gets beat up, Cass comes in, and we kind of just move on from there. Cass turns around or something. I mean, honestly, I could see them winning it, but
Oh.
it's hard because the only other tag team you could really give it to is the New Day.
Yep, and they're too busy just selling everything.
I mean, they're selling everything. It's like money, money. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
So,
who knew? And of course, this is slightly race baiting. Knew
mm,
that Vince McMahon would ever depend on black people
I
in
mean,
2017.
Shawn Michaels said hands off the merchandise, so he had to go somewhere else.
Well, apparently
But
Vince went, "I'm sexy" pretty often.
no, but I mean, I'm giving them. Like I said, I'm giving it a 3.5. Um, it's not an individual match. It's just the whole feeling. The pay per view itself, like I said, really wasn't too bad until that botch. Once that botch happened, I feel like everything went downhill.
I can understand that, but I'm glad you used the fact of that was also another factor for me. This is Raw's last pay per view before WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
What storyline is really concrete heading into WrestleMania? Like, literally, this is like, hey, this is that roller coaster. This is the peak. And we're about to roll all the way down to Orlando from there.
Well,
At
I didn't
that
feel like
point, things should be like, okay, we have Roman and Taker about to start going at it. That didn't happen.
didn't happen.
We had, you know, Brock and Goldberg will be facing each other, and Brock didn't even show up
Paul Heyman showed up.
until the next night.
No, Paul Heyman showed up
No,
at
no,
the
no.
pay-per-view.
Brock. So Brock.
No, but Paul Heyman showed up
I
at the
know.
pay-per-view.
No. I'm
So
agreeing with that.
that's Brock.
No, it's not. Let's just stop.
No, that's no. Come
No,
on.
we're talking about making an impact on the match.
He didn't have. Well, think about it.
We
They
knew
really
Chris
listen what they
Jericho was
did.
going to do that.
No, he didn't. Because it could have been Brock.
I'd rather have been Brock.
I mean, it was stupid either way.
I'd rather have been Brock. I still would have been okay with the finish, even though I hate that finish.
But how would have had finished if Brock would have came out?
Brock would have came out. Goldberg would have tried to pay attention. Kevin Owens tried to blindside him. He beat him down slightly a little bit. That's about 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He brings him up against the rope to try to do the pop-up powerbomb. Spear, pick him up, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, I could work for creative right now. It's that simple.
See, I thought it was stupid. I thought what King Ross had said, where, Kevin Owens gets counted out, he retains the title. So
But
Brock
they never
Lesnar.
rang the bell.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was saying he could have came in long enough for them to ring the bell, then just kind of dodged back out.
They didn't even try to ring the bell. I didn't know that. I didn't know they make them go up to the middle of the ring and then start ringing the bell. Apparently, that's a new rule as well too.
A rule
Just
that
like how, just
you
like
came
how I
up
knew,
with that.
just like how I knew it was a new rule that during championship matches, someone can interfere, hit one of the people in the matches, and not have a DQ called. Apparently, it's back to the Attitude Era.
I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to go with. I really don't even understand that whole thing. So
Okay,
that's why I'm giving it a 3.5.
I'm giving it a 3, and that's still me being fair.
3.5 is me being fair, only because I really did enjoy what Roman and Braun did. If Roman and Braun would have let me down, I probably would have just gave it a straight 2.2.
Literally, that's the surprise of the night for me.
That's what I'm saying. If they didn't surprise me,
literally, it would have been a 2.5. But that Roman Braun match, minus
gave me
the
a
finish,
wow.
it would have been 3.25. But that 0.25 got deducted because of the finish.
Yeah, that jump off the top rope was kind of weird, but I was pretty happy that he went up there and tried it, even though it was kind of stupid. I thought he was going to go for
it would have been like that match by itself would have gotten a 4 if Braun Strowman tried to do a shooting star press a la Brock Lesnar.
No. Had he just simply did a Chris Benoit headbutt or something, I would have been like, oh God, or like a Bam Bam Bigelow type of headbutt. It would have been crazy.
Yeah. Or a Vader moonsault.
Oh, okay, now you're just pushing it.
No laughing matters. Hugh Morris.
Oh, I can't believe you went there.
Your boy.
I can't believe you're going there.
The laughing man.
So, as you mentioned, I mean, that's really the recap. No storylines have been set up. Has anything really been, as we switch to WrestleMania, has anything really been set up in stone? I think it's pretty stupid.
There's only 2 matches in WrestleMania from Raw that I really care about.
You've told me, and that's the Cruiserweight and Kevin Owens versus Jericho.
Yep.
Which I'm looking forward to, the Cruiserweight and Jericho, which I'm happy to not see Big Show versus Shaq now. Obviously, we're going to see Charlotte versus Bayley one more time.
Well, maybe they won't do that stupid finish again. They're going to do that stupid finish.
Yeah, they're going
to do that stupid finish.
But this time, Sasha's going to turn on Bayley, and they're going to be headlining SummerSlam. I mean, really, that's it. I mean, WrestleMania is really just about part-timers coming back.
Literally.
New Day selling ice cream.
Yep.
And
which will probably have a Hulk Hogan spotting.
Which we don't need.
Yeah, but we're gonna have it.
I mean, what is
I think I mentioned this on stream a couple of weeks ago. Actually, that it's a marvel of an idea for them to reintroduce Hulk Hogan by having a New Day do it, because New Day is the most over act in wrestling right now. Well, at least in WWE. Broken Hardys is still up there, Bullet Club, and
I mean, honestly, There's a lot of things that could happen, man. I mean, Hogan could go out there and
Anthony
take.
Davis left the game with a wrist contusion. Will not return against the
Oh,
Raptors.
oh my goodness. Hulk Hogan go out there and tase Goldberg like they did 15, 20 years ago.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
And the streak,
No.
and the streak again.
Oh gosh.
So, do they let Undertaker lose 2 WrestleManias in a row?
Well, no, he didn't lose 2 WrestleManias in a row. He won.
Oh, he didn't lose
last
the
year.
last one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He beat Brock Lesnar last one.
It wasn't Brock.
Who was it?
It was. Who?
You sure it wasn't Brock?
No, it wasn't Brock.
That's not the one where he tapped out and raised the middle finger thing?
No, that was Hell in a Cell.
Gotcha. That was pretty hilarious, by the way.
That was hilarious. Not as hilarious as the whole popping up. Oh,
Oh, God. What an idiot.
no, I think
Who did he beat?
Bray, but I don't think it was Bray.
No, I don't think it was Bray
No,
either.
because last year it was The Rock and John Cena that buried the Wyatts again.
I remember that.
Who did Undertaker wrestle? People out there in the stream, who did Undertaker wrestle last year?
Mm-hmm.
Check it right now.
He didn't wrestle? No, that wasn't the right one. Yeah, I don't know. It was Shane McMahon.
It was Shane. That shows how much we cared about it.
That was a year ago already. Wow.
That's showed how much we cared about it. Because nothing happened with it. That was another example of, hey, yeah, we have an interesting storyline. Yeah, we're really not going to do anything about it because we're still going to let, Shane still be an authority figure.
So SmackDown's been on for a year already?
Yep.
Dang. We need to do something with our lives.
Oh, gosh. I feel like a mark now.
Yeah, don't be a mark. Mark.
I see what
So, I mean, WrestleMania, we're not really too excited about it. I mean, there's going to be some. Let's see what they do. Obviously, we're looking to see if Bray retains. Obviously, we can see a new Wyatt member come back or a new Wyatt member emerge. I think we should just move on to final thoughts at this point. I don't even know
Yeah,
what else to
because
say.
even SmackDown side, nothing really is
Yeah,
interesting
nothing's
because they're
really
going to
going
still
on.
do the AJ Styles versus the Shane match,
Which is crazy.
which is stupid.
Why does Shane always have to jump off of stuff?
Why do Shane has to just still wrestle? Like,
They could bring Rob Van Dam back for that.
what?
I'm just kidding.
I mean, there was rumors about bringing on Shinsuke to fight in Shane's place.
But he's hurt.
No, he just came back from injury.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he came. He actually came back this week.
Yeah.
But
I don't.
for me, it still goes back to the whole. And we mentioned this last week. I believe 4 Hours was getting upset with your boy.
Oh, don't let 4 Hours get upset with you.
It's the same matches that I've seen already.
Yeah, I could tell that he was getting a little upset that you said that because he's a major wrestling fan. But as he mentioned, he also didn't really watch during a certain era, and he didn't really follow the indie wrestlers like myself.
AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura literally happened like a year ago.
I mean, I'm almost positive. Like, I believe
It
you. You don't. I
literally
believe.
happened. Here's how recent it was. AJ Styles debuted last Royal Rumble, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not the one that just passed, but last year, 2016.
Right.
He wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura a few weeks before that.
Now let me ask you, because I know this is a question and a statement that you throw out there.
I did that a lot, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Would you consider AJ Styles to be the transitional champion in this particular situation? Because I mean, you've thrown out there that Kevin Owens was a transitional champion. I mean, would you say that AJ Styles has been a transitional champion? Because you think about it, they gave it to that pissant John Cena for 1.5 day, basically.
Hmm.
And then they give it to the guy who should have had it for the whole 2016 and part of 2015,
And
Bray
part of
Wyatt.
2014.
Yeah, he should have had it for a very long time. Do you think AJ Styles was the transitional champ?
I
That
want to say yes. I want to
that
say
thought
yes.
process, that thought process is exactly what I do
I want
every
to say
time you
yes.
say transitional champion.
But here's why I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
And maybe I can remit my statement about Kevin Owens because I know why you're talking about that now.
can't believe you said that. Poor Kevin.
We have to find out how many more championship opportunities Kevin Owens will have in the upcoming months.
Sure.
Because AJ Styles was always back in the title picture.
Honestly, I think the only reason he lost it because I can tell he's starting to get kind of worn down and he's starting to get hurt.
Who, AJ?
I mean,
A little bit.
yeah, he's flying all over the place, giving those phenomenal forearms and quote unquote styles clashes. I'm sure his body's hurting from all those
Hmm.
styles clashes.
But the reason why I say that he's not is the fact that he's always still been in that title picture. Kevin
Gotcha.
Owens lost the title and he's now going to beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania for the title. He went from top title, mid tier title, all
But
in
this
one
goes
night.
to the, I mean, and this can tie into our final thoughts because I know we both kind of talked about this yesterday. But I mean, what do we do? With all these part timers. My final thought, of course, is, hey, we got these part timers. Maybe it's time to let them go. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're asking? I thought you was being rhetorical for the people.
Well,
I didn't know if it
uh,
was a
I
discussion.
mean, it
Final
could be
thoughts.
either. It could be either way. I mean, because I know that we talked about this. As a final thought, I mean, should we just let these part timers go? I mean, they can ponder that if they want to. They can leave comments. They can take it to Twitter sphere, Facebook sphere, any other kind of sphere that they want to take it to. They could really do nothing with it if they don't want to, but I'm going to tell them to take through these if they don't. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry.
You
That's
can't
the
say that.
that's the hell's bells. But no, final thoughts. I mean, I definitely appreciate it. Another great episode. I do want to see more creativity out of the WWE, because it seems like it's almost like this is the MWE, the Mark Wrestling Entertainment Organization. It's like, don't cater to the Marks, cater to the John Gottis of the world,
I see.
the Doc Oceans,
I don't know how you feel about
the Senor Octobers, the people who really enjoy, like, wrestling is such a great, beautiful art,
that.
you know.
Yes.
It's entertaining. It's some great storytelling in the ring, so at times. And I think that's why I kind of liked Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns because it wasn't just, hey, I know Roman's going to win. It was like, hey, I know you're new here. I was new at one point. You're supposed to be strong. I'm told I'm supposed to be strong. Let me give you some pointers. Hey, put me through this table to make it look good. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to beat you because I'm supposed to be strong. Roman Reigns.
That was beautiful, sir. No, it's great. Oh my god. Okay, we don't know what that sound was, but we don't condone that on the Bits Among Friends. I don't know what that sound was, but it needs to stop right now. Oh my
What are
god.
your final thoughts, sir?
It's interesting that you called it. What did you call it again? WWE now?
MWE
The
Mark
MWE, the Mark Wrestling
Wrestling
Entertainment Organization. I will do
Organization.
you one better. It is called the IWE, the Indie Wrestling
mean, why can't we go Indie Mark?
It doesn't matter. Potato, tomato, put it together still. It still makes ketchup. Like,
Oh God, I can't believe you went there. You said tomato, tomato, potato.
but my final thoughts. I have a couple of shout outs to do. Big shout outs to What Culture WWE. I actually
True.
watched their reaction video for Fastlane, and not only was it highly entertaining, especially the fact that Adam Pacitti lost because of the very same reason why we're all so angry about that main event. They added a new stipulation for their little countdown. There's actually something that we might actually do as well too, where we do certain
Sure.
challenges based off predictions that we do maybe after WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania becomes very, very dangerous, really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, he had to take an ice bath for, I believe.
Yikes! It's no joke.
And he took it like a G.
No, like he had shorts on or something.
I mean, yeah, but he had shorts on, yeah, but
okay.
I mean,
Still,
the shorts does nothing for the coat.
I mean,
It does
I don't
nothing.
know. Shorts might help out a lot because that instant, like.
I mean, okay,
Hey.
minus the shrinkage, but that's something totally different.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about just shrinkage. I mean, I'm talking about like having shorts on takes away from that initial sting of being in the ice.
I mean, he didn't just go, jackknife diving into it. By the way, that would be a great finisher for
Yeah,
Roman Reigns.
I think we did say Roman.
But now I'm thinking about it, it might be even Cass.
But
At least I know with Cass, he will not tear his quad as many times as Kevin Nash.
I don't know. I think Cass is so skinny. The question is can he do a powerbomb for his whole career? You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously Nash couldn't have. All I could picture is him doing that to Big Show, and.
But that was just stupid. That was stupid.
Hey, it's better than a diving big boot. Yup.
Oh god!
But
so
my other
stupid.
final thought is actually another shout out. Shout out to my boy Moose. It's his birthday today.
Moose.
Probably not that kind of Moose, but yeah. Shout outs to him out there in Cali.
California love.
All right, on that one, we're gonna go to the big finish.
Got a nice track for him tonight.
Tell him who it is.
Well, I found a nice little hidden gem on SoundCloud. And can I just say, the big finish is here tonight.
Probably shouldn't say it like that.
I'm sorry.
Probably shouldn't say it like that at all.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
We're about to
censors.
big finish
The censors.
all over this podcast.
I think the people at XSplit needs to talk to me afterwards. I think they're gonna fire us.
All right, so the track for tonight I found on SoundCloud, The Big Finish, ladies and gentlemen. Artist known as Fink. Actually, his name is Fink. The name of the song is called Our Golden. And I just fell in love with it. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just like, wow. I mean, the sound, the lyrics, the love of the music, And here at Debate Amongst Friends, we want you to think that we just love hip hop. We love all music. Everybody should know that Dr. Wednesday Night loves a good guitar solo any day of the week, just as a good rap lyric. So we're gonna try to mix it up. Here it is. It's a nice little rock song for you. Fink, Our Golden.
That was great, sir. And we'll leave you at that. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. Make sure to reach out to us on our Facebook at Debates Among Friends, Twitter at Debates Among Friends, our YouTube page, which is what we're streaming right now. And you can also catch past episodes on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can also catch the Doctor's Twitter at TLDouble, or myself, Professor John Gotti, at Kin86. And we'll catch you again next week, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Deuces.
Our goal. Our goal.